This is a weird house. It has addresses on the both ends. So it's 4915 Chimenez and it's 18205. And post office delivers both.
We're at 18205 Valley Vista Boulevard in Tarzna, California, performing a video sewer inspection from the mainline cleanout in the planter at the front of the house, right by the right pillar in the planter area. We are in the city sewer at this time. We've run through this cleanout all the way into the city sewer. We got some root intrusions at the city sewer saddle connection. We got several breaks in the 6-inch lateral. It's cracked and broken. We'll pull back and show the condition. We got a section of clay in the 4-inch by the large tree that they replaced up to the tree coming from the cleanout, and then left the piece of clay in, and then replaced a small section of plastic on the other side of the tree to the 4 to 6-inch connection. So we're going to pull back and show the condition. This is the city sewer saddle connection, and as you can see up at the top left-hand corner, it's pretty well cracked and broken. There's a piece that's cracked all the way out. Then there's a large crack going all the way down the 6-inch all the way to the first joint, and this is the saddle connection. Unfortunately, by code, you can't just line this. It would have to be replaced if you pull permits on it. Now pulling back, we'll pull back to the next joint, see what that one looked like. That one had quite a bit of roots in it. You can see by the darkness. We jetted it pretty heavily, but it had roots in there, but it's not terrible. It's just offset a little bit, but not that bad on that joint. The next joint, you have a pretty good separation. You see rocks coming in, stuck in the roots, and there was quite a bit of roots and separation at that joint. Blew all the roots out of that joint when we hydrojetted. Next joint, we got pretty good separation in there, probably about a 1/2 inch and an offset. You can see the face of the pipe a little bit, not too bad. But you see the joint is here, and then you pull back about another 2-3 inches, and you see a very large crack. The whole hub is cracked off to the top left. See, this whole piece is all cracked. Mm-hmm. The joint is right here, Gene, mm-hmm. And then that's all cracked.
Oh, I can see.
Which is, like I said, it's common for a house this age and a sewer system this age. Okay, we'll pull back through that joint. You see that crack goes all the way around the pipe at the bottom too. And then it's also broken back here. You see the crack at the bottom there. And there's a piece actually at the bottom. It's protruding into the line a little bit. It's starting to come apart. Crack all the way along the bottom of that piece of pipe. And then we have another broken section here. Pretty good sized break all the way around the pipe right here. At this point, this is out under the street. And then we have a joint right here, which is pretty well offset. You can see where it dips down about an inch, inch and a half. Thing is separated quite a bit. And then we have another break in the line here. See where it's cracked off to the left. And that joint is just broken. That joint separated and cracked all the way up about 4 inches, 5 inches. Had a lot of heavy root intrusion in that joint. Then we have another break in this joint. This joint's separated and broken pretty badly as well. And we have another broken joint here and separated. This piece of pipe on the bottom is just cracked and broken pretty bad off to the left. See that big old chunk sitting there? There's a chunk that's out of it. and it's offset. There was a lot of roots in that joint, and it's catching paper because it is broken so bad. This joint too as well is just really offset. You see the whole face of the pipe off to the left, and it's holding back some water right here. We're holding water all in here because of the joint. And we got another joint. This one's separated pretty bad and offset pretty bad. Right there, that had a lot of roots in it. And it's cracked. As you can see on the bottom, there's a line. It's cracked all the way back. You keep coming back to the joint, it's cracked all the way through to the plastic line. Now this is back on the house side of the sidewalk now, where we're coming up back into the 4-inch plastic. And we had some roots in the joint right here in the 4-inch plastic as well. It wasn't put together too well. You can see there's a separation there. That goes back again to clay. I don't know why they tied clay in right there. This is going to go all the way back to the house side, the front entrance, but between the front entrance and that large tree, it comes all the way back. You got, let's see how many feet of clay they left in there. They left this in because they didn't want to have to dig up the roots or pull a trenchless pipe. Maybe when they did the plastic line, they didn't have the equipment or the trenchless technology at the time to pull underneath there without having to dig up around the tree. So we're at 50.7 feet. That joint's pretty well broken here in this 4-inch. There's a lot of roots in there. We tried to clean it as much as we could, but if you clean it too much, you're going to blow that joint right apart, and it will collapse. This joint as well is cracked all the way around and broken, and there's heavy root intrusion in that joint. Intrusion in that joint. That joint doesn't look terrible. It's got a couple little cracks in it. Nothing major in that joint. And then we're back at the plastic. So we've got about 10-foot area, 4-inch pipe that they left the clay pipe in. And now the rest of the pipe coming back toward the house, toward the cleanout, is all 4-inch ABS plastic. And I didn't see any areas of concern. We have a little tiny bit of root intrusion in this joint, but nothing major at all. The rest of the full way back, from what I could see, look good. Another joint, that joint's nice and tight, no root intrusion in that joint. That joint wasn't put together great. It's not real tight. You see how jagged it is, but not that bad. It'll hold. I don't believe that it's separated. I don't think there was roots in it. Got some water running in the house. Another joint. That joint looks to be in pretty good condition. There's a little separation in that joint at the top, though. They didn't put it together real tight. Where it's separated in between, there's probably about 3/8 to a 1/2 inch gap in there, and that should be good and tight. And we're pulling back up through the cleanup. There's the street. We'll say hi to Gene. Hi, Gene.
Hi, Roseanne.
And that concludes the video sewer inspection.